you, Nazareth University community, for having me. Thank you, faculty, staff, trustees. Thank you, parents. And most importantly, congratulations, graduates. It's an honor for me to be here tonight. Are any of you tired of hearing about these unprecedented times? At some point, unprecedented becomes the precedent, right? Abnormal becomes the norm, and the thing that we can predict is that things will be unpredictable. This is the world into which you're graduating. Now let me set our expectations straight. This is not going to be an inspirational speech where the guy in the wheelchair says, if I can do it, you can too. This is more of a dare. I dare you to do these things. I dare you to do more. As your commencement speaker, I was probably supposed to say something uplifting, maybe quote Dr. Seuss's "Oh, the Places You'll Go," but I live 1.5 miles from campus, honestly. So geographically, I've not actually gone very far. I'm on the other side of the big mega Wegmans, in case anybody's wondering. Despite that, I have gone some places and I have done some things. And like you, my education at Nazareth helped me be prepared. In a lot of ways, it was not the material that we learned in class, but learning how to learn, learning how to think critically, that made the difference. When I was in your place 26 years ago, I had no idea where I was going. Any of the students feeling that way right now? It's okay, I won't tell your parents. Okay, a couple hands. I loved my classes and my professors, but what was I going to do with a degree in sociology? I honestly still never actually answered that question. But I can look back at my career and I see that a lot was about simply being ready. You won't know when an opportunity is coming. You won't know when somebody's going to need you. You're not going to plan to fail. You won't know when the hardest thing in your life is going to hit you at the time when you're least expecting it. You just have to be ready. You have to be ready to do uncomfortable things and accomplish more than you expect. So that's our theme for tonight. And this is the audience participation part, okay? So I'm going to say something, you're going to say it back. 3 things. Okay, ready? Be ready. Get uncomfortable. Expect more. So this is not just the graduates, by the way. I'm talking now also to parents, faculty, trustees, President Paul. This is for all of us. So let's start by being ready. Seems appropriate. There was the time that I was sitting in the audience at a committee hearing in Washington, D.C. in the U.S. Senate, chaired by Senator John Rockefeller. When the committee's conversation turned to health and wellness for people with disabilities, the senator recognized my group and asked if anybody would speak. So I did. Then there was the time that I was asked to speak at a press conference with New York State Governor Eliot Spitzer in the very brief time that he was our governor. A few minutes before the event, I was jotting down my notes of what I was going to say, and my colleagues were mortified. How could I wait till the last second to decide what I was going to say? I explained to them that as an advocate, I had been saying the same things for years, and I was just deciding what order to say them in that day. Most recently, there was the time that I received a very suspicious-looking email inviting me to an event at the White House during the waning months of the Biden presidency. To make a very long story short, a few days later, I was on a plane to D.C. with no real information or solid confirmation about this event. I made my way to the White House. I was escorted into what's called the Gold Room of the White House for an event regarding gun violence prevention. On his way out, President Biden stopped to take a selfie with me. The world and your place in it can be overwhelming. Your future is likely going to span 70 years, 70 years, kids. The decisions you make now are important, but there will be so much more time and so many opportunities to make more decisions, to adjust and even totally reverse your direction. I started college at the Rochester Institute of Technology, majoring in microelectronic engineering. Here I am now, a proud graduate of Nazareth University with a degree in sociology. Your path will have its own twists and turns. Our world is full of twists and turns. Every day there are new crises, the daily headlines never stop, and watching them can be mind-numbing. Every day is a new challenge, and while the world is overwhelming, you don't have to fix everything. You can't. You just have to be ready to make the difference that you can make. Now let's get uncomfortable. Truthfully, we all have biases. There is someone, some group, some kind of person that we're not comfortable with. We may not know it. We may know it and hide it. We may lie to ourselves about it or comfort ourselves, or we may say dumb things. Like the time I was talking to two of my coworkers and one of them said, "Chris, I don't see your wheelchair. It's got red spokes. You're supposed to see it. If you're not seeing my wheelchair, you're not seeing me." We often invite people to make themselves comfortable, but when we're comfortable, we're not growing. So today, let's invite each other to be uncomfortable. Let's help each other go to the uncomfortable places. I grew up in a small, very white, rural town. I live in an affluent suburb. And now I spend a good portion of my everyday in communication with young black men who are shot and paralyzed in our cities. Some of them have very serious criminal records. Many are entirely innocent. Everyone deserves our best efforts. I didn't see this work coming. I just had to be ready and get uncomfortable. I've learned some things while doing this work, and I've made some mistakes. But I made those mistakes with sincerity and respect, and my teachers in this community have been patient with me and taught me with sincerity and respect. They've taught me things that we could never learn in a classroom at Nazareth or anywhere else. And I've used my skills, strengths, and privileges to amplify these teachings, and together, we're making a difference in the lives of many other survivors of violence. Finally, we need to expect more. Expect more of people that are different than you, of other races, other genders, other generations, other social classes. Expect more of our government. And yes, even expect more of your racist uncle. Expect more of people that are similar to you, and most importantly, expect more of yourself. Expect that you can do that thing. Many of us are viewed as lesser in some way. Society sees my disability and sets the bar of expectation quite low. People find it inspiring that I am simply out of bed, dressed, and shopping for snackies at the Mega Wegmans. A lot of my stories involve Wegmans. Where I have succeeded, I think of it as because of my disability, not despite it. I've worked in disability and health policy. I met my wife through adapted sports. I've led hundreds of people in protests. I was arrested a couple dozen times at those protests. I enacted policies and passed legislation that have enhanced the lives of people living with disabilities. I started a wheelchair rugby team because I wanted to play. I started a program to support people who have been shot and paralyzed because it was hard and no one else was doing it, but it needed to be done. Let's spend a moment on wheelchair rugby. It's a sport that I describe as demolition derby in wheelchairs inspired by the Mad Max apocalypse movies. I was 14 when I was paralyzed, and at that time, the choices of adapted sports were very limited and didn't appeal to me. Along came, many years later, the movie Murder Ball, which featured wheelchair rugby. I was sold. It didn't exist in our region, so I gathered friends and we made it happen. I, of course, need to add that our team would not be the success that it has been without the tremendous support of volunteers from Nazareth. DPT, I see you. Find your wheelchair rugby, gather your friends, and make it happen. We all have things we believe in strongly. This is not a left thing or a right thing, and our society does us all a great disservice by acting as though wildly complicated issues like criminal justice, gun violence, abortion, immigration, the economy, and so much more can be reduced to a simple binary, this or that, left or right. Things are just not that simple. The work ahead won't be easy, but the hard things are the things that are worth doing. Over 150 years ago, Frederick Douglass told us that men may not get all that they pay for in this world, but they must certainly pay for all that they get. What are you passionate about? Are you ready to advocate in ways that will make you uncomfortable? Are you willing to be pushed outside your comfort zone? What will you risk in order to make this world a better place? You are all young yet and have time to do amazing things. There's a quote on my mother-in-law's refrigerator from Father Daniel Berrigan, a Jesuit priest. It reads, "One cannot level one's moral lance at every evil in the universe. There are simply too many of them. But you can do something. And the difference between doing something and doing nothing is everything. Be ready, get uncomfortable, expect more. Thank you, and again, congratulations, graduates.